Testing one, two, three. Could the French interpreters please do a sound check on the French channel?
Audio test, remote, audio test.
And we're still awaiting Member Quinn to log in, so we will just give it another 1 or 2 minutes. And Member Quinn has arrived, so we'll just await the rest of the members to rejoin us at the table, and then we will proceed. Search it out. Okay, so good morning, everybody. Welcome back. Welcome to the Built Heritage Committee meeting of September 9th, 2025. I'd like to call the members to order. This hybrid meeting is being facilitated through Zoom and is being held on the traditional territory of the Algonquin Anishinaabe Nation, the original custodians of the unceded land in which the city of Ottawa is located. We extend our respect to all First Nations, Inuit, and Métis people for their valuable past and present contributions to this land. Since this committee meeting is being streamed live on the Ottawa City Council YouTube channel, I'd like to remind participants to please keep your microphones muted until I call upon you to speak. For those participating here in the committee room, please use the microphone in front of you and keep your computer muted. I will provide each committee member with the opportunity to ask questions or comment on each item in the order in which they raise their hand in Zoom. For panelists, the raise hand option is found at the bottom of the participants list. For those calling in, press *9 to raise your hand. The committee coordinator and I will be watching for those cues. And I'd like to officially welcome Chris to the table. It's wonderful that you're joining us in capacity as committee coordinator. Members are also reminded to submit any motions, visual supports, or declarations of interest in writing to the coordinator at their earliest opportunity. Although the deadlines have passed for residents to register to speak at this committee and to provide written submissions to this committee, residents can make written submissions to council. A reminder that if participants are having technical issues with their Zoom connection, they may call in using the backup telephone number provided by the coordinator. I did receive regrets from Member Madigan. Could the committee coordinator call the roll?
Councillor Kelly.
Present.
Councillor Leeper. Good morning. Councillor Troster.
Here.
Member Borns. Member Legault. Member Quinn.
Present.
Vice Chair Plant.
Ici.
And Chair King.
Present.
You have quorum, Mr. Chair.
Thank you so much. Are there any declarations of interest? Seeing none, confirmation of minutes. Are the minutes for our July 8th meeting confirmed? Confirmed. Thank you so much. So I will be proceeding this morning with a consent agenda. Our first item is consideration of objection to the notice of intention to designate 251 Northwestern Avenue under Part 4 of the Ontario Heritage Act. We do have a delegation for this item, so we will hold. The next item is consideration of notice of objection for Église Saint Francois Assise and Église Saint Joseph under Part 4 of the Ontario Heritage Act. While we did receive correspondence, there are no registered delegations on this item. Would any committee member want to hold this item? Seeing none, is this item carried? Carried. Thank you so much. So that report will be submitted to council on September 24th, 2025. The next item is application to demolish the accessory structure at 166 Huron Avenue North, a property designated under Part 4 of the Ontario Heritage Act. While we did receive correspondence on this item, there are no registered delegations. Does anyone want to hold this specific item? Seeing none, is the item carried? Carried. So this item will be submitted to council on September 24th, 2025. The next item is demolition of 5897 Fernbank Road, a property designated under Part 4 of the Ontario Heritage Act. While we do have one registered speaker, they did indicate that they would only really want to be available for questions. Seeing that, there are no other registered delegations. Is there a will to hold this specific item? Seeing none, is this item carried?
Carried.
Carried. Thank you so much. So this item will be submitted to Ottawa City Council on September 24th, 2025. The next item is designation of the former Royal Canadian Air Force Officers Mess at 158 Gloucester Street under Part 4 of the Ontario Heritage Act. Staff has prepared a technical amendment motion to correct description errors in document 4 of this report, and I will ask Vice Chair Plante to move that motion.
Oh, hold on, my resume is. Whereas document 4, the statement of cultural heritage value for 158 Gloucester Street includes 2 minor errors in description of heritage attributes. Therefore, be it resolved that the following updates be made to description of heritage attributes in document 4 to replace 6 bullet upper central Palladian window with modest colonnettes and voussoir with central window and upper story with arched transom and decorative brick and window surround. To replace the 7th bullet triangular pediment and flat roof line with decorative stepped parapet and flat roof. I hope I pronounced that okay. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you so much for moving that technical motion on behalf of staff. While we did receive correspondence on this specific item, there are also no registered delegates to speak. Does anyone want to hold this item? And so Member Borns wants to hold it for some questions. So we will return to this item. The next item is designation of the former Vernon Schoolhouse under Part 4 of the Ontario Heritage Act. We did receive correspondence, but once again, there are no registered delegates. Does anybody want to hold this item? Seeing none, is this item carried? Carried. So this item will be submitted to Ottawa City Council on September 24th, 2025. And our last piece of substantive business is the designation of Lauzon House at 6654 Notre Dame Street under Part 4 of the Ontario Heritage Act. Once again, we did receive a correspondence on this item, but there are no registered delegates. Does anyone want to hold this item? Seeing none, is this item carried? Carried. Thank you so much. So that item will also be submitted to council on September 24th, 2025. Going back to our first held item, consideration of objection to the notice of intention to designate 251 Northwestern Avenue. Can we please have a presentation by staff?
Okay, good morning. So I'll provide a brief overview on the designation and objection process to date for 251 Northwestern Avenue. So the subject property you can see on screen there, 251 Northwestern Avenue, is better known as the Ottawa Mosque, and it is a mid-century mosque, which is notable for being the first purpose-built mosque in Ottawa. And next slide, please. So on screen there, you can just see a timeline which covers the process to date as well as the kind of expected end of the process under the Ontario Heritage Act. So this file was last in front of Built Heritage Committee in May of this year, where Built Heritage Committee recommended that this property be designated under Part 4 of the Ontario Heritage Act. Staff presented a cultural heritage valuation report, which found that the property met 5 of the 9 criteria under the Ontario Heritage Act. And you can see in the timeline here, our initial kind of contact and outreach with the Ottawa Muslim Association, which is the owner of the mosque and the operator of the mosque, began back in August of 2024, was followed up by a site visit and meeting in November of 2024, and then later in advance of the designation process kicking off formally, some formal letters mailed out to the owner regarding the designation process. So the notice of intention to designate was issued at the end of May after being approved by council, and we received a formal objection from the Ottawa Muslim Association in July of this year. And next slide, please. So the objection to the notice of intention to designate. So we received that July 2nd, 2025, concerning the designation, which was approved by council earlier in June. We were frankly a little bit surprised to see this objection come in. We had a lot of really good conversations and dialogue with the Ottawa Muslim Association, but the notice of intention to designate concerned kind of 2 main items. First was some concern with the limited time available to consult the mosque's broader community following a change in leadership at the Ottawa Muslim Association in early 2025. And second, some concerns with the potential impact of designation on the Ottawa Muslim Association's ability to maintain and alter and expand the mosque and other uses on site in the future. So after receiving the notice of objection, we arranged a meeting on site with the new leadership group at the Ottawa Muslim Association, met on site in July, and discussed sort of the overall process, their concerns, etc. It was a really productive meeting. And we were able to clarify some of the potential issues that they had foreseen or some of the potential misunderstandings about the process and the implications of designation. And we agreed to a number of minor clarifying amendments to the statement of cultural heritage value in order to address some of their concerns and ensure that some of their kind of longer term planning wasn't negatively impacted by designation. So we kind of arranged that at a high level in the meeting, and then through email correspondence, completed a number of clarifying amendments to the Statement of Cultural Heritage Value, which you can see in Document 3 and Document 4 to the report. So after we had kind of sorted that out, the Ottawa Muslim Association did submit a follow-up letter indicating that their concerns had been resolved and essentially withdrawing the notice of intention to object, but we have kept it in here so that we can actually implement these amendments through the actual objection process. And next slide, please. So just quickly in conclusion, with that in mind, staff's recommendation today is to not withdraw the notice of intention to designate the Ottawa Mosque at 251 North Western Avenue and proceed with the designation process using the amended Statement of Cultural Heritage Value, which is attached as Document 4 to the report. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that presentation. We did have a registered delegate, Mohammed H. Gaban, but I don't know if he is not, unfortunately, on the call. So we were holding the item for the delegation. Seeing that the delegation is not there, are there any questions to staff on this item? Councillor Leeper.
Thank you. No question, but I just want to thank staff. I had the opportunity to attend that meeting with the mosque, and I am always impressed with the professionalism and expertise that our heritage staff have. That was really well done, and I'm really glad that this has been resolved. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Councillor Leeper. Are there any other questions? Seeing none, I also just wanted to mirror the comments of Councillor Leeper. It's great to see staff interacting this way with owners, really to demonstrate the value of ensuring that our heritage is protected through the designation process. So I think it's important to have those discussions, especially since the Ottawa Mosque represents a unique piece of Ottawa's architectural and cultural heritage. As being the earliest purpose-built mosque in our city, it documents the growth and the establishment of Ottawa's Muslim community. So I think it's very powerful that this mosque is being recognized in the way it is by the city. At this point, is the item carried? Carried. Thank you so much. So this item will be submitted to Ottawa City Council on September 24th, 2025. Now we'll go back to our outstanding item around the former Royal Canadian Air Force Officers Mess held for questions, I believe, by Member Borns.
Thank you. I noticed in the report that there was no recognition of this property in any of the earlier things other than, I guess, 2020. And it just seems like a relative newcomer to the heritage designation, which would expect to be older.
Through you, Mr. Chair, the property was previously listed on the City of Ottawa's Heritage Reference List, which was a list that was created in the 1980s through a windshield survey, but it had no formal status under the Heritage Act. And it was added as part of a large grouping of properties that were in Ward 14 in 2020, but it had been recognized as having some significance across the city before then. It's just been formally listed under the Heritage Act since 2020.
Now, some of the criteria appear to be stretches. Certainly the architectural criteria, and it's really the home of the RCAF diner, and I guess the earlier reference to the association. And I do we really want to celebrate that association, which was really a major cause of conflict within the city, and particularly with the French community? And so the Orange Lodge, as a builder and as an occupant for a number of years, doesn't seem to be something that we really want to celebrate.
Yeah, through you, Chair. Thank you for the question. It's a great point, and yeah, I think we would definitely acknowledge that there is some really regrettable and complicated history there. I think it was still important to Ottawa's history. It was really during a period where these fraternal organizations were really prominent and played a big role in the political environment and culture of the city. So it's, I think, something that we want to acknowledge and recognize, while still also recognizing the troubled and regrettable parts of that history.
Maybe just to add to that, I should have also introduced Ben Moran, who's our new heritage planner on the team for the next year, while Ashley is on maternity leave. She had a baby. But yes, I mean, I think history is complicated, and part of the direction that we've received from council and this committee through all of our Bill 23 review is to be more honest, be more open, and to tell the whole story. And so that's what we're trying to do here. We're not just going to sugarcoat it and sort of, I mean, I think we have to recognize that these organizations existed and continue to exist today as for a variety of fraternal organizations with different types of roles in the community.
Well, the report seems to sugarcoat it. It refers to the Orange Lodge as being something significant and useful. And I mean, there is a reference to conflict, but it's not the key element of the report.
Respectfully, I think the Orange Lodge was somewhat useful in history and did have an important role in the community. So I think, you know, everybody has different perspectives on different things. And I think if you have suggestions on how the Cultural Heritage Evaluation Report could be updated to be that is a living document. That's not a document that's approved by committee and council. So if you have suggestions on how we could better reflect your thoughts on the history of the Orange Lodge, we'd be happy to hear them outside of the committee meeting, and we can work with you to ensure that the city's files are broadly reflecting the public opinion or people's opinions about and the history of this organization.
I'll just dissent on.
Thank you. Member Quinn.
Thank you, Chair. Just to say that I don't think the designation is about celebrating the Orange Lodge. I think it's recognizing an important aspect of our history. And by marking it and giving it the designation, it does not equate to celebrating it. So I will be supporting the designation, and but I do appreciate what my colleagues' comments and staff's willingness to review the cultural heritage value statement of cultural heritage value. I will definitely go back and read it again myself with fresh eyes, thanks to my colleagues' comments, and perhaps there is, as Colin suggested, the opportunity to make some edits to better reflect the councillors' concerns, or my colleagues' concerns, but I will be supporting the designation. Thank you.
Thank you so much for those comments. Are there any other questions to staff on this item? Seeing none, is the technical amendment carried?
Carried.
With dissent? And is the item carried?
Carried.
Carried with dissent from Member Borns. Thank you so much. So this item is carried and it will be submitted to Ottawa City Council on September 24th, 2025. I believe that wraps up our substantive business. There are no in-camera items. Are there any notices of motion? Seeing none. Are there any written inquiries? Seeing none. Other business. Seeing none. On adjournment. We're adjourned. The next meeting of the Built Heritage Committee is Monday, October 6th, 2025. Thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you, Chair. Was this a record?
Yes, it might be.
Anyway, hi from my cottage, suckers. Bye-bye.